Hello, everybody. It's me, XA44, and welcome to welcome back to the channel. First off, we're gonna be doing a little art tutorial today. If you enjoy it, like, comment, and subscribe. So, first off, just going right into things, super quick, super fast, because that's something. I guess I don't know. Just gonna keep talking because the art ain't stopping. Basically, just drawing out some numbers here. Figuring out basic shapes. Getting something that mathematically feels correct. Just good numbers. I'm probably gonna pause a lot. You got just standard flip here of just going from just 1 1 3 4, or technically 3 3, because things, and it goes consistent back down in the same way of just 1 1. Uh, Mathematics is very important if you want to get into sprite art, or if you're semi-experienced and you don't know. Yeah, fun fact: the numbers. This is mostly about mathematics. Yeah. Well, guess what? When you could count out literally every single individual dot, you're going to be expected to count out every individual dot. Anyway, here I'm going on to just drawing out another one of the shapes of this thing, drawing out the wings. I'm pretty sure you already, but yeah, obviously you already know from thumbnail. Drawn some type of owl creature here. You can see getting symmetry right, make sure things are centered for the canvas. That way, it fits within the actual token base here, because this is for souvenir related stuff. Great series. Go check it out. Or if you just subscribe, you'll see that sometime later this week, or next week technically, because this is coming out on a Tuesday. At least it should be, unless something goes terribly wrong. Anyway, here, as you can see, just still following common patterns of just going, consistent numberings, never doing too large of flips, uh, you know, getting out just fairly basic shapes. If you actually pay attention for the side bits of the head, there's actually technically two different shapes going on there. Just happen to kind of connect. That's why the math is a little bit different there in the way that it just goes, 1 2 1 in the way that it does. Because it's actually a transitional piece. Because normally you want to have it do a little bit more of a smoother transition for most shapes. But because it is, two different pieces of the same shape, or two shapes that come in one shape, and blends together. Here, just going and filling in the actual wings, getting them to be, you know, not too big, not too small, mostly about size, not too worried about the shape, because the shape is going to come down to however I feel like shading it whenever it comes to that. And now we're going on to here, where you can see I left myself little divots for the feet all the way at the start there. Uh, Here I'm just filling them in, trying to figure out what I'm doing exactly. And I, saw, okay, if I'm doing the outstretched wings, I could keep everything in a more consistent area, have it be a very heavy front-on shot where it's like flying at you. So, I start positioning the feet in that position. And also then, as I start moving on to shading, just about now. So yeah, here I'm just playing around with some colors, making sure to, put in enough yellow to where it doesn't contrast too much with the claws, but it's still completely, you know, gray within your own perspective. If you actually are paying attention as I was selecting colors there, uh, it was actually way more, yellow than it was gray. But since everything else around it is in the more yellow orange spectrum, your eyes naturally interpret it as being more of a grayed out thing. In fact, use that principle a lot in my own sprite here. A lot of the skin tones and stuff, and distributing it against the actual plating or whatever chains. Yeah, don't know what my own character design is really all that much. Yeah, I know enough about it. Of it looks cool, you know. Anyway, here just doing some basic shading and adding a little bit of texture to the actual body of the owl. Just making it a very basic circle cylinder shape. If you have any knowledge of art or have seen a circle before, um, should not be of any difficulty to you. Here I'm just going in anti-aliasing various pieces, uh, basically just filling in a half pixel wherever is necessary when the math doesn't check out to be completely clean, because the transitional angle here, I could pause for a second, on the body, it goes on a much steeper angle than with the actual inside of the chest, where I had the very smooth angle going out of just 1 1 3 3, or technically it's like 2.5 there. Okay, that'd be why, because it's 2.5, but it's 2.5, so that makes 5. So yeah, causes the mass in the actual outer part of the body to go a little bit wrong. So you gotta anti-alias things so that way it evens out again. Continuing on, just messing around with colors a bit, filling in some shading, getting the, neck to cover up the actual, well, there to be shaded in to be more of a neck to greater separate the head. So when you're looking at it, you could see, that intense separation. And right now you could especially see, there is a hard line there. As we're going through and I start shading out the head later, you're going to see that like slowly blend in and become a little bit more natural, but that same effect is still going to be maintained. It was a good time to talk because it's a lot of me going through trying to figure out what I want to do for the wings. If I want to do like some more, specific texturing, or if I want to do some more like shading type thing. If I want to be drawing the wings as, line type things, or just drawing a few individual ruffs, feathers. Just playing it by ear. I did not have any plan of what I'm doing with this design going into it. So, here I'm taking out the little edges of the canvas so that way I could actually see clearly what the shape the audience will be seeing is. So that way, when you're looking at this in the next souvenir video or whatever souvenir video that shows up in, this is what you see. I'm not gonna bother drawing things that aren't seen, which is if you're doing sprite work, uh, something that's gonna happen a lot. But also at the same time, you notice that I have taken out the feet here. That is because even though, I'm going to be drawing over things and some things are going to be pointless, doesn't mean that I can't, math out and know what is there. Even if it isn't going to be shown, knowing how something should look is still going to make sure that your, final result is going to end up better because the things around it are affected by, the thing itself. So if I don't have, or if I have, the feet covering up the body there, it's going to be a lot harder to shade things in. That's why I have them tiled off for basically this entire segment of me shading and texturing and all that. Still, you see me just kind of struggling with symmetry and figuring out what exactly I'm doing here. I've kind of settled on a little bit more of a pattern, but still a little rough around the edges. And yeah. As you can see already, just because the wings are now drawing in your attention from the actual like harsher line there, already, you're not seeing that harsh line in the middle there where the neck is. You're now seeing the details of like the chest and the wings. Here's me going in, and first thing there, I was about to make a big mistake and not following the lighting I had preset for myself, doing lighting around the bottom. But since I have the lighting already set around the center of the chest, I just follow the circle I have going on and just push it outwards to the wings, keeping it very simple. And here I go, just adding an extra color to make it a little bit cleaner of a blend, just because can. SNES, color limits are in fact a thing. Try and follow them if you're doing sprite work, but I mean, at the end of the day, we have those restrictions limited, or not lifted, so there's no reason for you to continue following them in every scenario. Keep them in mind. Don't avoid them as if they are the end all be all. Having one or two extra colors isn't gonna, make or break it. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying go too crazy with colors. Don't pick up a new color every time you want to do anything, but keeping things, you know, basically don't go crazy. Be sane with your color choices. Here for the eyes, I've definitely by this point passed the 16 color limit. I'm pretty sure, probably, because the eyes are just major thing. Spend a while doing the eyes here, trying to figure out exactly how I want to have them be placed because they're going to be carrying a lot of the emotion that this thing is going to be holding. Because faces kind of do that. I spent a lot of time just even though most of the time I draw eyes, they're like 4 pixels. I go back and forth on what direction they should be going nonstop, just because that small little difference of what pixel is the actual center point, and if they're both facing the same way, if they're facing different ways, so many ways you could do that, and every single one portrays a slightly different emotion or just expression of some type. Even though you've got so many restrictions with sprite work, doesn't mean that there isn't nearly endless creativity that you could do, or just endless ways that you could just interpret various, different spreads of pixels. I mean, at the end of the day, if you really think about it, all artwork could be simplified down to sprite work, and that is, part of why I find it so enjoyable to do, is because it's so simplified down from what most other art forms are. You're allowed to go fast, you're allowed to be highly technical, and as long as you know what you're doing and you're smart about it, you could get away with just about anything. You know, the only thing different between me and anyone who's watching this is just the amount of time it would take for us to draw this. I mean, even then, I'm making a lot of mistakes here because I did not go into any type of plan with this. This was me saying, hey, I want to draw an enemy, make it some type of wind-based thing because there's enough wind enemies in Solvanir. Sure, make it just a bird. It's just going to be a bird. I might recolor it at some point later, but you know what? It's cool. It's a bird. Okay, cool looking bird that's going to attack you. Uh, you know, getting the expression down, getting everything, on a technical sense working, you know, minor recolors, whatever. They've been doing that since the dawn of, technology. I mean, even of like the oldest game I can think of. I mean, technically even Pong, if you think about it, the player two is just a recolor of player one. um, yeah. Also, a little bonus to everyone who's watching into this far into the video. Uh, as I'm wrapping things up here, you might notice there's a little bit of runtime left. Here I am just trying to keep the color limit down, trying to not pick up a new color because, like I said, color limits. Try and abide by them when you can. Checking to see if there was some color that happened to work out here that made it look good. There wasn't, so I just had to. Yeah, I'll just bite it, take the extra color added to the palette. Now here I go on your little extra treat for watching this far into the video is also seeing the process of making the thumbnail here. So first I'm just taking the two sprites that I made within the video itself and just going cutting them out from the actual screenshots I was taking and resizing them, positioning them, figuring out how exactly I'm going to do this. I already have a vague plan of what I'm doing here, unlike for making the actual sprite itself of, going to have just an arrow pointing up to them, just showing the, big red arrow of, oh, okay, here's going from one thing to another thing. Wow, pro noob. I thought about putting that in the thumbnail, but nah. Here's me struggling to use a tool I never use because I do sprite work. I'm not used to a lot of the tools because they are not my, forte. Uh, Sprite-ish, that part. Other stuff is just sometimes takes me a little bit longer to figure out. Here I'm just, sizing, getting the actual exact positioning right, making it dynamic, keeping my branding in the bottom right corner as you're seeing currently, even into the video. Yeah, that's right. It's Inception, and just add some basic text and something to just give you some draw to this. I don't know. Hope that this thumbnail made you click. It better. It's a pretty good thumbnail. I made it myself, and I am very proud of it. Unlike your mom. Yeah, you could tell I'm running out of things to commentate here, but I mean, for a 15-minute video of me rewatching footage that I recorded, 15 minutes ago, not that bad. Doing this all in one take. Because I am a one take man. Yeah, that's right. I did everything here in one take. Ignore how I did a total failed recording because the sprite I was originally doing was so terrible. I didn't want to keep it. I completely scrapped it and then just said, "Yeah, I want to just draw something else." And I did that, and then second take on the sprite, first take on the audio. And yeah, as you could tell, I am not stumbling over my words at all until this last minute here. Oh yeah, and then here I do the epic shadow of text because all great text on anything has to have a dramatic shadow going over it because shadows are cool or whatever. Oh yeah, look at how much depth it has. Oh, it's fancy. Yeah. I'm not lying when I said 10 minutes because the extra bit here is 5 minutes. Oh, yeah, okay, well, maybe I should have hit the loop button. But like, comment, and subscribe, and check out that souvenir video that's gonna come out later this week, next week, whatever. Soon. Subscribe. Do it. I would put up a subscribe button, but I'm not editing this video. I'm doing it all live. And eventually this video